So in today's conversation, most of you uh, may not know about Dr. Shivm. Dr. Shivm is a Harvard-trained psychiatrist. He practices psychiatry quite differently based on my readings about him. Um, he, he's more of a preventive psychiatrist and an educator in mental health, even though he's also a clinician. And he's done quite a lot of work when it comes to education on mental health. And the good thing about Dr. Shivm is that, I mean, for those of us in mental health care, you would find that we are more curative in our approach than preventive. And sometimes we are also more tilted towards the adult population. But then Dr. Shivam's work cuts across the lifespan, more or less. So it's not about children, it's not about adults. He believes that at every point in time, the brain can be rewired. And so the whole idea of today's conversation is to bring us to that place where we get to experience more of preventive mental health. We get to experience how to build resilience, strength, as people who are probably professionals managing our homes and businesses and all of that. Yeah, so that is a little about Dr. Shivm. He's done some extensive work in India. He's managed to create a mental health curriculum. He will tell us about it today. I was intrigued by it because for most of us, our education is more cognitive, but then he shifted it from the predominantly cognitive to a more emotionally strong education. So he'll tell us about that today. And then he's also done some work across the continent. So he'll tell us a little about that today. But today, the idea of the conversation is to bring us to that place where we can, there's another half of the brain, of our intellect that is not being tapped into. And that is the focus of today's conversation. We want to know which half of our intellect is not being tapped into, and then we want to know how to tap into it. We want to know why it's important to even explore that side of our intellect, and then how can it make us thrive. Thankfully, in Ghana, May is the month for mental health advocacy. So we are doing something very good, and we are starting with the right person. So without wasting much time, I want to remind you that this is Open Therapy, where we talk about it's a mental health podcast. We talk about mental health and everything that's associated with good preventive mental health. So you're all welcome. And Dr. Shivm, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction.
Right.
And mental health, what is mental health? If you look at the definition of mental health from World Health Organization or CDC, Center for Disease Control, mental health is a state, in which a person is able to use his skills that he has learned and live the life happily, functionally. That is what mental health is.
Wow.
When mental health gets bad, then you develop diseases or problems. So if the mental health is a state of staying happy, functional, able to use our skills, then what should be the mental health education? Mental health education should be to teach human beings those skills. What are those skills that can help a person stay healthy, happy, calm, enjoy their life, and don't develop disease? See, what happens is stress is inevitable. Whatever you do, wherever you live, stress is going to come and go, right? You could be in war zone, stress is all over. Or you could be living happily, but you got some problem in your job that could be stressful. Right, if nothing is happening, you got a accident, somebody hit you from back, stress came from nowhere. So we don't know. Human beings, the way we live, we don't know How do you handle the stress? That is what you have to understand. Stress will come and go, but people who get stuck at stress, they develop later mental health problems. So stress is good. Some stress, when it comes, it helps us. That's how we survive,
Mhm.
Stress activates cortisol and the nervous system so that we can take care of it. When you're working in emergency room and a patient comes, you go fast. That's all stress. That's helping you. But if the stress is chronic in not having recovery time, then what will happen? Stress, 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 stress. What will it lead to? Disease, major depression, generalized anxiety disorder. And then when the patient will come to see you for open therapy. Right? So we
That,
therapy as a treatment modality, we come as secondary prevention. So if a
mm,
disease is there in a community, how do we control the disease? Primary prevention, secondary prevention, tertiary prevention. Primary prevention is that you act even before the disease has started. Stress level. Or
mm,
even before that, you give people skills so that they know how to deal with the stress. That is primary prevention. That is mental health education goes there to teach people skills so that they don't even develop, or if they developed, they know how to deal with it. Secondary prevention is screen people for depression, anxiety, ADHD, trauma, and then you treat them early. So what we are doing is secondary prevention. We help people who have developed disease or something, we treat them. That is what the whole mental health, when you we talk about, that is what they are focused on, screening the people to find disease early in school, in everywhere, and then treat them. That is very important because without that we'll not survive. But we are not getting enough focus or time to think about primary prevention, so that people, average people, population has those skills to deal with the depression or the stress so that it doesn't become depression.
mm.
Is that clear?
Yeah, it is. And I have a question on that. So, what is this other half of our intellect that must be developed? And has it gone
Yes.
on? Yes, you tell me about that.
Yeah.
So you tell me about that, and then I
So
ask the next
yeah.
question.
So basically, what I'm saying here, what I'm proposing to the whole world through you guys, is that we have been educated about the outside world. What does that mean is, when the industrialization of nations happened in Europe, in France, UK, at that time when industries were growing up, they developed the education system, which was to understand the outer world: mathematics, geography, science, computers, all this. This is all outer world education. So the school system later on, all the school system in the world are actually coming from that colonization. That school system we follow. That is the standard, that you have to read mathematics, geography, history, social science. This is all outside education. But what they left is the education of inside world. And what is that education? That education is how to stay healthy. The mental health education, they left that part. We in schools, we were not taught about ourselves, our emotions, how to deal with stress, how to take care of it, what are our emotions. It wasn't it wasn't taught to us. So that is the half of the education that was not given, excuse me, for 300 years, since that industrialized nations, you know they call UK, Europe, America as industrialized nations. Sorry for that. So the other half of the education was neglected, and that is why there is rise in mental health education, mental health problems, because the other half the education is not given. And that I am calling mental health education. And it includes subjects, skills, which if taught to human being, then they will be in a better position to deal with stress. So that is the half education that has not been trained. We are not trained. to be patient. We learn patience, but we are not trained to be we are trained to be rush. When my son wakes up in the morning, he has to go to school, and I'm rushing him, rush, rush, we are going to get late. And then my son said to me, Daddy, why is it rushing me? You said don't rush.
Asada.
So the whole
Nyambo
population
pa.
now, we want the whole population to rush like we are in a hurry,
Tell.
because it creates economic, the way we set up the whole thing, consumerism, fast, fast. We value fast. We don't value slow,
Mm.
right? Fast action, fast reaction, impulsivity. That is what we are valuing in the community. But if we had the inner education, we knew what is more important. Pause, patience, listening, because that's how you connect with human beings. The what is the significant factor in this study? They show that humans who have connection, they live healthier. But if we
Mm.
are becoming fast and impulsive and TikTok and all those things, we are becoming more reactive. We don't have time for our people to actually listen to them and connect, at that level, because our conversations are getting shorter. So these inner skills, these needs, this is
Also,
education, but nobody is teaching that. So that's why we created a formal curriculum for inner education, mental health education, which teaches human beings 11 skills that we have found out in last 10 years of research, that there are 11 skills. If you teach to human beings, they will have better chances of having a happy, good, satisfying, peaceful, calming life, that they can deal with stress. Those skills are very important now to give to humanity, because what is happening right now, there is an attack on our senses. They want you to see something so that they can sell you something, for your ears to hear something to sell. Everything is about selling you something, rush selling, because that's how the big markets grow. If there is no business, though no sale, so they are attacking you from this phone anywhere. And that's too much load on our brain, too much information. We may not need some of those information, you know like I'll tell you an example. I was working in Chicago, in a very rural area, like a farming city. And then one child came to me. He was 15-year-old. And said, what happened? He said, I'm scared. I'm scared. I said, what happened? And said, you know what? There are some people in Middle East, they're cutting heads and all that. He saw that on YouTube or somewhere, and now he's scared. And he's living like middle of nowhere. I said, do you think they will come and get you? Say no. Say, why are you scared? Just this news, propaganda, and all these things spreading so much in the globalization, it's good, but at what cost?
Mm.
Because you are getting the news that you don't even need to know. It's not important for your survival or something. But because of the globalization, now you know everything that is going in the whole world. What will it cost to your brain? So anyways, we cannot stop or whatever. What we do is give you the skills, the right set of skills, that you know what is wrong right for you, and you can take the decision, and you can do better in your life. And that education that we have created, like outer education has how many subjects? Mathematics, geography, history, science, computers, coding. The inner education also has 11 subjects, and we formally teach them. What are those subjects of inner education? Self awareness, self management, positive thinking, problem solving, mindfulness, relationship skills, responsible decision making, metacognition. So these are 11 subjects that we formally want to teach the whole world. And when that will happen, it will increase the consciousness of the whole planet, and the people will become empowered so that they can not only help themselves but others. And that is our mission. And that is why we have started this organization called Mighty Champions, which is in which we train people with these 11 skills. And we plan to have uh, weekly town hall meetings in globally in zip codes so that people can learn about it. So the half thing that you're talking about, this is the half education that we want people to teach, this inner education which is not given. And there's an imbalance of outer and inner education. Outer education, we have rockets, we have skyscrapers, we have tall buildings. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we have everything outside AI, but inside we are shaking a little bit.
Hmm. Now, this is very insightful because obviously the world is becoming fast, and like you said, your son even pointed it out to you to to slow down, right? Now, I want to know one thing. Where is this knowledge you have? I'm a mental health specialist. You are a
Yeah.
mental health specialist. This is not how we are trained.
Hmm.
So where is this knowledge coming from? Where did this begin for you? What experiences did you have to think that no, let's change this narrative?
Yeah, very important question. So you know what? I was working in rural area, like I was telling you, near Chicago, and then a girl came to me, around 13-year-old, and she had deep cuts on her arms. Cutting behavior. Kids do these days. So, but she had deep cuts. So I was like worried. I said like, oh my God, I thought she needs to go to hospital, inpatient unit. So, because I thought she may harm herself. Then she told me, doctor, stop, don't admit me to the hospital. I said, why? I'm worried you're gonna die. I say, see, I don't want to kill myself. I just cannot take so much emotional pain I have. I cannot take it, but I can take physical pain. So physical pain is okay for her, but emotional pain she cannot take. Then I was like, really? And I'm scared of a needle stick. When I go to blood work and they put a stick in me, I was like, and I said, she's like cutting her whole arm. So I was like, why? That she doesn't have skills, 13-year-old, and she has so much pain. Where that come from? And why can't she deal with it? You know, she doesn't have job. She doesn't have she's not married. She doesn't have kids. She doesn't have to do nothing. She have parents and everything. Why she's, so much pain? Then I looked around and I saw that suicide is going up and up. People becoming impulsive, gun shooting going on, wars going on. People are becoming impulsive. They don't have normal skills to deal with it. And the family is also getting, segregated. Like, now the families are moving. People are migrating. So they're not living where they used to live. They're living separately. They don't live with grandparents sometimes. There's no enough structure. So the kids not learning the coping skills.
Mm,
And then parents do not have time. When they come home, mom and dad both have a phone or something, they have to check emails. So they give the child a phone. So child is learning for growing up on phone or social media, or I mean, those kind of things are happening a lot. So it definitely is causing problems with our coping skills.
mm,
Then I looked at it, that preventive model, that how to control the mental health, problem. Then I looked at that in our MBBS, MD, when we go to medical school, they teach us that you have to have primary prevention, secondary prevention, tertiary. So I said there is no primary prevention, there is no skill set this person has. If she is feeling very stressed, what should she do? If she has a panic attack, what does she do? First of all, there is no knowledge of neuroscience. They don't know that we have a amygdala, emotional brain, brain stem, which is impulsive brain, prefrontal cortex, which is logical brain. So you know what we created in for our schools? We taught them that you have three kinds of brain: lizard brain, very impulsive brain like brainstem; dog brain, which is very emotional, dog is always loving, emotional; and prefrontal cortex, like wise owl. So we taught our kids. So what happened one day, they were his one of the child, his parents were like back and forth yelling, screaming, you are like this, you are like this. So it happens sometimes, husband wife yelling each other. So the child goes to the mom, say, mom, you're using your lizard brain. So just simple education that taught that child that instead of back and forth, you have to take a pause. And when you take a pause, what happens? Your prefrontal cortex get activated. How is it that whenever any stimulus will come, first it will trigger your amygdala in 100 milliseconds. Around 100 milliseconds, your amygdala will get activated. Your survival. So like you think sometimes you get scared from your shadow, right? You see your shadow is somebody, you jump, but then let's say, oh, that's my shadow. Then after 200 more milliseconds, your prefrontal cortex get activated. So there is a gap. Even before you can think, your body will automatically react.
Right.
So if your reactions are terrible, you're gonna have trouble. You have to train your reactions, no?
Right.
Your
Let me.
nervous
So
system has to, trained. So the question that you asked me, that this education, how I got to know about this education is that when I saw that girl, and I saw that the whole world is having lack of coping skills, not getting trained. So I looked into research in primary prevention. What coping skills are there? Is there any vaccination and like you give to a patient so that they do not have disease? Is there any skills like vaccination we can give to people so they don't have disease? Is it possible? That's what I looked into. And that's the whole journey started in 2016 when we started developing this mental health education curriculum. And now 10 years later, we have this curriculum in schools in India and UAE, and we're teaching in America, Canada, Pakistan, and a lot of other countries. To 50,000 children are getting this education, which is a mental health education subject. And that program is called the Mind Sync program that we run in schools. Now, we have also launched another program called Mighty Champions for adults. Because we are teaching if parents do not have skills, that even child has the skill, but the parents do not have skills, another problem won't be solved. Like vaccination for polio, you have to give polio vaccine to everybody in the community. Herd immunity. So mental health is like that. We need to create a herd immunity, rise in the skill set of human beings globally, so that this epidemic that is attacking us, we can settle down. And that will also change our politicians, the way they take decisions. A lot of impulsive decision making going on in the world with the wars and all that. We need leaders who are mindful, problem solver, and positive. And these are 3 skills from out of the 11 skills that we teach to children: how to become mindful, how to solve a problem, and how to be positive.
that's very insightful to hear. And um, I was thinking that this kind of education should be left to religious institutions and should be left to families, parents. You've already touched on the family side of things where adults are being trained. Um, why must a psychiatrist, or why should mental health practitioners be doing this when it seems to fall on the laps of families and religion.
So you touched a very important point. Like I discussed with you earlier, that when industrialization of the nations were happening, they were developing the school system, the education system. At that time, they were focused on the skills so that people can build things, industries, and all that. And the education was also which can be measured and which is more tangible, more accessible. But the inner education was mystical. You cannot measure it. Inner education, you can measure mathematics. How will you measure mindfulness? So how will you give assessment in school? By school, whenever you go, you give them degree, bachelor, certificate, diploma. How will you create it for inner education? How can you check how many points in resilience, how many points in self-awareness? It was not measurable. So they left it because they thought it was non-scientific. Because education is scientific, history, mathematics, everything is scientific. This education, inner education, was thought non-scientific. So they left it. And the religions, what this inner education do? It makes you happy, healthy, satisfied at the end of the day, patience, calming, relaxation. Because after doing anything you do during the day, you need that at the end of the day. So religions have prayers and all these, they act on your brain and make you calm and feel safe. Herd, community and all those. So those people started taking care of it, and they were taking care of it, so they continue to take care of it. But now, after so many years, we have developed neuroscience. Now we know what is in the brain stem. We know everything in the brain, fMRI, everything is. And our research has been done on resiliency, self-awareness. If you just Google Scholar, just type on Google or ask Chat GPT, does positivity, is there any research study on positivity helping mental health? Just ask that. Ask a Chat GPT or Google, is there any study on self-management skills and mental health? Is there any study on relationship skills, teaching, and mental health? You ask them, there's tons of research already there, but nobody is giving it. That's the problem. Because I don't know why. There are reasons. There are reasons. It's hard to sell because
Mm.
everybody wants business comes from treating people because that people will take it right away. But when you go and say, I don't have problem, why do I need, my child is not mental, I don't need mental health education. That was the main problem we had. Whenever we go to a school and say we want to implement mental health education, they will say, our children are not mental. Like it is. But it says it's not about that mental, it's about mental health, staying healthy, learning skills. We are not diagnosing, treating your children, we're educating them. Let me take these two questions. I like the analogy about his child, but my question is, how do we show the world, slow the world down? Because the kids ourselves are in the rat race already. Do we stand by down? How do we pause to listen? The world is already. Very nice question. And in the mighty champions, that inner education curriculum that we have launched, we are running two campaigns in it. One campaign, the name of the campaign is Pause. That is the name of the campaign, Pause. And the other campaign we have is called SBC, which is Stop, Breathe, and Choose. We have to create campaigns like that. There's a lot of other campaigns out there in the world which is like 67, I don't know what, anything, can become popular, viral these days. But this is what we want for the humanity. Because if we do not pause, stop, breathe, and do self-reflection, our prefrontal cortex, how will it evolve? Let me give you an example. What makes you human is your prefrontal cortex. It's most evolved part of your brain, of the human entire human, in among the animals. That's what makes us human. How did we develop it? Through self-reflection. When we pause and we reflect and then we improve, that's how we keep improving our prefrontal cortex. And that's how we became humans. But right now, humans, Homo sapiens, we are Homo sapiens, right? But we are becoming Homo automatus because we are living on automatic world. If we do not pause and self-reflect, how will our prefrontal cortex will evolve? Maybe AI will evolve more genius than us. That time has come. That the population is increasing, how whole humanity is going on automatic mode. How will we, after 1,000 years, what will be a human like? Will he be anxious, scared, nervous from the birth, or will he be patient, relaxed, taking good decisions? This movement will decide it. If this kind of education is not given, the humanity may go downhill. We don't know. I'm not scaring you guys. Oh, this will happen. Do this education. Right? It's not what I'm trying to do. But as a thought person, as a person who thinks, these thoughts come to my mind.
Mm.
And this is a section by open therapy, so I can be open about it, right?
Of course.
Another question I have: What do you think? What do you think traditional education system focus on heavily on IQ while neglecting emotional relations? Why do you think traditional? Why they are neglecting? Well, they were not. They were is like I said from industrializations, with the outside world gives them. They are focused on earning money. So outside world education is needed to earn money. So, but there has to be a balance that inside world education needs to be given. I think it was not given because it was considered non-scientific and not able to measure and assess it. That could be one reason. But now you guys will be very happy to know that we have created this inner education and we have created assessment of it. And it's available on our website today. Today you can go on our website and do your assessment and figure out if you have bachelor's, master's, PhD, certificate, high school, diploma in your inner education. Where do you stand? Because we have inner education. We learned it from our parents, from society. We do have it, right? But where are we? Where do we stand? What is our self-awareness score? Self-management score, positivity, how much positive are we? Relationship score, skills score, all scores are given. We created that assessment and it's available, and I welcome you all. It's freely available for the whole world to assess themselves. So I will actually put the link for that assessment here. Let me find it. Yeah. Go ahead, all. I just took few questions so that
That's
we
good.
don't
and the questions are coming. So thank you all for
Hmm?
sharing your questions.
Yeah,
My
let's
next
find it
question
out. Yeah,
is,
let me find out the link for you guys.
right, go ahead.
Yeah, you can go ahead while I'm doing that.
So a lot of people tend to think that once you are book smart, right, I think the other half strong, then you should thrive. If you're able to set up a business, if you're able to employ people, if you're able to have a family, buy big things and nice things, then you are fine. Right? But here's Dr. Dubey tell us that it's not enough to be school or education smart. So then my question is, what are the signs? How will I know that I need this other half of my brain trained. Even if I'm doing
Assessment.
well professionally, if I'm doing well
Assessment.
in other aspects of my life.
That's why we developed the assessment, so that you know where you are lacking in your self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision making, metacognition. But even if you don't do our assessment, you know, at the end of the day, when you end your day, if you are satisfied, you're enjoying your work, you are happy with what you're doing, and you have a plan, a vision, a mission, and you're satisfied with it, you are good. You don't have to be a big CEO or doctor or engineer or anything big. You know, in India, when I used to live in India, you know, like I live in America since 2007, you know, like around 17, 20 years. But my earlier part of my schooling was in India. So in India, I used to see, you know, those some lot of poor people in India, you know. So I used to see on the streets, there is like this guy who pulls the rickshaw, you know, we call it like cart puller. At the end of the day, I will look at him and he will sleep like crazy. So peaceful, satisfied, right? He is totally satisfied. He enjoys his work. He enjoys card pulling. Whatever you do, he's enjoying. He's more resilient. He's more, you know, lot of good things, that he's satisfied with whatever it is. And you may have millions of dollars, but you are still stressed. That's not what we want, you know. So inner education is something that brings you home, and inner education is something that will help you with cognitive dissonance. And this is a very important term that, if I think most of you guys are therapists, that you should learn about cognitive dissonance. What if cognitive dissonance is that when your values are not in align with your what you're doing in your life, you will have some cognitive dissonance. You will not remain satisfied. It and kiss for if you continue that for 10, 20, 30 years, your brain will be activated in a way that it could harm you, could cause disease. You know, psychosomatic symptoms. Do you know psychosomatic symptoms? A lot of time people have somatic diseases that you could not find the answers medically. I'm telling you, this is happening a lot. Like people have migraine, headache. Doctors just can't figure out what is it, and they have pain. They have, you know, their new disease are coming. You know, fibromyalgia and all that. You know, somatic symptoms is it could be related to something like that. That when you are involved in doing something which does not align with your value, with your spirit, with your inner nervous system that you have developed, you will not be satisfied.
Wow.
Inner education is needed for that. Why? Self awareness, first subject that we teach, will help you become aware of yourself, what you need and what are you doing. It will give you an insight. Self management, now you will manage it. Whatever needs to be done, you will do it. Relationship skills, you will help understand value in your relationship, so you are satisfied. You will take better decisions from responsible decision making. So all these skills, the education curriculum we have, will help you with your cognitive dissonance. We all have cognitive dissonance because we are giving jobs created by someone else, and to earn money we just try to fit in that job. And then I became a doctor. If I'm working in a hospital system, I have to work with the hospital system. If their values and my values don't align, I'll always be upset. You know, like the insurance system, there's a lot of insurance policies which restricts doctor to work,
Wow.
right? And for therapists, very important, because therapists, when they see a patient, they see an emotional patient most of the time. and then they dig down and deep into the psyche and learn all the trauma and all these things. And we as human beings have something called mirror neurons, which gets activated when you see an emotional person. So at the end of the day, you will be exhausted more than any office worker. If you see a lot of patients, a lot of emotions, you're getting emotional too. You're trying to control it, suppress it, but it's still getting constantly activated. And then that could affect you if you did not take care of yourself, or if you did not need a nervous reset between the appointments, nervous reset at the end of the day. Otherwise your nervous system will always up. Emotional brain is always very active, although you're trying to control, stay in control, keeping your using your prefrontal cortex, but it's the occupational hazard for therapists.
Interesting. So I want you to speak based on your own experience, right? This is something you have developed, and already it's intriguing to hear, right? That no matter how intelligent a person is, if this other side of their brain is not developed, they may still struggle, whether with their relationships or with their professions or with their families and all. Now, how have you integrated this knowledge into your own life, given that most of the people who may listen to this podcast are busy people, right? We have a 9 to 5 and we have to run our families and we need to run our businesses. How do we integrate this into our daily lives? And how sure are we that this is not going to slow us down because we need to make a living?
Can't slow down, right?
Yeah.
See, we have 24 hours in a day, right?
Right.
If we plan things, we could find 10-minute breaks 2 3 times in a day, 5-minute breaks 2 3 times a day, not in a stretch like 15-minute or 30-minute, even smaller ones. Even if you stop for 10 minutes 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening, that's what we do in our program. Even that could be very, very significant benefits to you. In those 10 minutes, you could reset your nervous system. You could train your brain to be positive, patient, resilient. You can train it. And let me give you an example. How about I have you clap 10 minutes 3 times a day, every day. Just clapping. Then 12 p.m. to 12:10, clapping. 6 p.m. to 6:10, clapping. And you do it for 6 months, every single day. What will happen after that? Your brain will automatically make you urge to clap. Your brain will upload it. It doesn't care. It's like a machine. Your brain is like a machine. It does not care. It uploads the things that you repeat. When you ride on a bicycle, you don't have to think about balancing. Why? Because your brain has uploaded a software of neurocircuits which makes your body balance automatically. Similarly, when I'm driving the car and I'm talking to my wife on phone and blah 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 blah, and I have crossed 10 red lights, I don't even know who is driving the car. Automatically, my brain software uploaded. So brain, you have, this is the neuroscience we have to understand now. This is the education we have to give to people. See, your brain doesn't care. If something traumatic will happen to you, your brain will upload it. And now you are coming to see a therapist, your brain has uploaded a negative software which sees everything as threat and you get panic attack. Your brain has uploaded a software which makes you think you are not enough. So any opportunity you get, you have limited thing. Your operating system is limiting. limiting you to reach those opportunities. Or you have developed a belief or a software in your brain that people don't welcome you. Then you don't want to go to many parties, and somebody wants to really invite you, you will be saying, no, I'm not invited, nobody welcomes me. Or you have generated a thought that you are not loved. Or imagine a whole country, I'll give you an example. Whole country, Palestine and Israel, they live in a fear. A child, when he's born there, they live in a fear that they will be attacked because they're fighting for so many years, right? So they have, when they grow up, they know they are the enemy, even if they could be friends. But their brain has uploaded that software for generations. See how powerful it is. Your brain doesn't care what you upload. You upload good softwares, you upload best softwares. This education is uploading better softwares, better skills. How? Through neuroplasticity. In our educational system that we have created, education is very experiential. We don't believe in making you believe something. If I tell you this is what, don't believe in it, experience it. If you experience it, then your nervous system will absorb it, and it will stay, it will be your reaction. So when we teach you self awareness, self management, pause, stop, breathe, choose, and neurocircuit positivity, we actually have you repeat things, positive phrases, that it becomes part of you. So, and then you experience the changes in yourself, not believe in anything. So that is what this education is. So how people can get benefit? Pick 10 minutes of their time, 3 times a day. You're 24 hours. You have to become organized. See, the machines are gonna be smarter because they are organized, they are on time, they're efficient. Human beings also have to learn to manage their time, organize their time. We have to use that kind of things. Rush is, but there has to be time for you to reset. So in those 10 minutes, what you should do: box breathing, positive affirmations, guided meditation. Do 3 times a day. Simple thing, free of cost. Or you can join our program and we'll help you do, because as Mighty Champions program, when you enroll in our education system, it's like a school. It's not like just, you will get access to 11 modules, 11 subjects, and you will be given 180 live sessions every single day. There is a program called Mighty Champions Daily Life, MCD Live, in which an educator will sit with you in the meeting. It's live for the whole humanity, MCD Live. And what does that educator do? First, it will set your intention for the day, make you relax, set your intention that you're going to be happy, helping, kind, all the harmonious things, not negative things. Set the intention, do yoga, meditation, then we'll discuss a concept in an engaging way, and then we'll end with positivity and then question answer if you have. Every single day we do that. So 6 months our program runs, so 180 sessions you get. Besides that, you get 3 more sessions with our psychologist educator. After every 3 subjects, you get to meet with the psychologist educator in a group and discuss your education. So basically, it's self-paced education module, but you get to, every single day you get to see a teacher like in a school, and you also get 3 separate sessions. And there is a pre and post assessment. So we created the whole thing for somebody to learn the inner education, like we are competing with outer education. Right? So it's not easy. So we have to meet those standards of outer education. That's what we are trying to do. So guys, you have to find that time in your life. No matter what you're doing, no matter, you have to create that space.
Wow.
And you already do that. by scrolling. You spend some time on scrolling or looking at news media that doesn't even matter to you. What is happening in China or somewhere may not even, I mean, I don't know how important things are. I mean, it could be for a lot of people, but and then media and all these, they are taking your time because they want to sell you something. Don't give your time to them. Become a mighty champion instead.
Wow. Let me ask, we're almost hitting the top of the hour. So let me invite people to keep sending their questions in as I ask this question. Dr. Shivm, do us a favor, if you have the link to your website or something. I'm not sure if
I already put it in the chat. So
okay.
this woman, there is a when you click on this website, there is a free assessment that you can take. It will tell you about your whole profile, about your education, what you have, and it's created not to diagnose or treat you. It's created to help you so that you can improve. And it's there's a one link for women and one link for men separately. Okay, and you're welcome to join Mighty Champions if you want. And we, at the end of the program, we give you a certificate, and then there is a path to become a mentor, in which you have global opportunities to become Mighty Champion mentor and run these sessions, education sessions in your town hall. And we do have a business model. you know uh, it's not like we are just running it voluntarily or anything. It's a basic inner education program. Mm, we're empowering people and giving people a lot of employment too. For people who wants to be in mental health education, we have a big research program that we are running. So you guys, when you involve, you have a lot of opportunities, like getting a certificate from mental health education, participating in research, becoming a mentor, and running mental health education in Ghana or worldwide.
Right. Let me ask you my last question. So, to what extent does this kind of education impact our typical IQ, right? You have kids, and I'm sure you've exposed them to this kind of education. Do you see the change in their IQ as you train their emotional intelligence?
Yes. So see, your intelligent, there are two things here actually. One little superficial, I'll tell you, and one little deeper, to take this podcast to another level. Are you ready for that, Paul? Let's take it to the
Definitely.
another level. I'll tell you two things here. IQ is one thing, your intelligent quotient, right? Then there is emotional quotient, right? Emotional quotient is basically your ability to manage your emotions in stressful times that you stay. You have seen people, they're staying a lot of stress, but they are still sound. They're making sound decisions, even in emotional stress. You must have seen people like that, right?
Yeah.
So when you have emotional quotient is higher, then your intelligence works better. You will be able to achieve more. Your potential is here because of your emotional because of your IQ. Your potential is here, but you are working here because your EQ is not good. It's pulling you down, because to deal with the outside world you need a lot of IQ and all those things. So that is one level. But there is another level, which I call neuroscience of self. If your self, if you are not aware of yourself and you consider yourself stick to an identity, then your intelligence is the slave to that identity. What does that mean? I'll tell you. Do you know in America 9/11 happened? You know what happened in 9/11? These people,
Yeah.
They actually knew how to fly an aircraft. So just imagine what was their IQ. When a child grows up You know what? You ask the child, "What do you want to be?" And you know what child says? "I want to become a pilot." How many children say that, right? You know what kind of IQ you need to become a pilot? High IQ. Not anybody can become a pilot easily. So all those people who attacked 9/11 and they, you know, make nuclear bomb and all these, they have high IQs, but their identity told them to do something. So their IQ is slave to that identity. So if your identity is built to destroy or believed that you are threatened, if your identity thinks that you are threatened, you are attacked, you have to save yourself and you can do destruction and all that, then your IQ is going to just serve that identity. So that's another level of talk that we can continue next time. If you invite me, we'll talk about that. But today we can end here. That there is another dimension to, you know, just having high IQ is not enough to save this world.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your time. This has been very insightful, to be honest. In essence, I mean, my take home is it's not enough to focus on the daily hustles, trying to make the money, running around. It's important to consider that our well-being should be holistic, and it's always important to also look at that other side of our well-being that helps us thrive, that helps us feel fulfilled, and not necessarily chase the speed in this world. I feel this is extremely insightful. We will share the link to the program. We hope people just sign on in their numbers. Someone just posted in the chat space that she thinks this is something we should quickly integrate into educational system. So we hope to be able to push this as far as it could go. But thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll come back to you at a better time. We are really, really grateful. I don't know if you have any last words to share. Do you?
No, I think I'll see you guys in MCD Live very soon.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all for joining the conversation.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I'm so happy to, talking to you. And I really enjoyed. And you guys are so nice people and doing this incredible job. Open therapy. I really like the name. And I think it's a blessing to me that I'm here with you guys and sharing this information.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shivm, and see you another time. Thank you all for joining the conversation. We will share the link and we will share the YouTube link at the right time so that those who want to see it will get to see it. And at a good time, I'm sure you'll be able to respond to them. Thank you all for joining and have a lovely day. Bye.